Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Seniors Hub for an evening discussion. We are having an evening with artist Amac Don. I think he's rich in introduction. So without wasting of time, I'll just want to welcome all of you. And I also want to welcome Amac Don to Seniors Hub.
Thank you very much. Greetings, everyone. Absolutely. First, I wanted to actually get how you pronounce my name.
How I pronounce it? Is it Amac Don?
Okay, correct. I wanted to catch you off guard.
Actually, someone I was very surprised to know that their name is actual translation is John Frog. John Frog is actually, his name is, I don't know, what, John Agweg? John Agweg. So I thought actually the frog was just him playing around. So it's like, no, it's actually my name. I'm called John Agweg. So it's very good to have some originality in your name.
Absolutely.
So maybe kind of like a bit of biographical, maybe you can just tell us a little bit about your upbringing, where you were born, and what kind of setup that was. You have traversed several countries, so maybe we'll just want to know.
Absolutely. Well, my parents are both from the demographic of South Sudanese, both Dinka. My mom is from northern Baragazal, and my dad is from Bor. They both met during the liberation because some people left from Awil, heading towards when people were basically going away for liberation, and they met in the army with my father. I'm from Bor originally. We always take our paternal side of family, and that's where we are called. But it's good to mention both because that's what made me the person I am. If I speak and it's a person who doesn't really know me, they would definitely think I'm from Bar Al Ghazal until I introduce myself. Then they know I'm from Bor. That's always a common confusion in the middle. I was born in a camp called Itang in Ethiopia. I was conceived there, born there. During that time, both my mom and dad were in the army training. And my dad saw my mom there and decided this was his life partner. So I was born there, and then from there, that's where we left. The war broke out. We left when I was almost 2 years. Towards what they call it, the other camp that was close to it. Let me try and remember. Penyido. And then towards Penyido, we were moving, being carried by my mom. My dad was still at the front line in Zinc. And we went to Pachala. We went to Loki, and that's where we flew to Uganda. We ended up in Kaya first. And then from Kaya, that's when we ended up in Uganda.
How old were you during this movement? You seem to be having a very vivid memory.
I was 2 almost. The exact time, the exact dates, or like the difference in months, I'm not sure, but I was almost 2. The war broke out in 1990, basically, I think around that time. And then so when we traveled, it was a fast-tracked one because people were being chased and, killed along the way. It wasn't like a movement we were traveling. It's basically the camp was dismantled and everybody was running for their life. That's the Guyana time. I think a lot of people have heard of that. And so as we go, I'm not certain about how many days we spend at a certain place, but most of the camps we were in usually get created because a bundle of people come to a place, they want to stay close, then they move on to the next area.
So then I think probably the next point of settlement was Uganda now? You're in Uganda, you're in Kaya?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. We ended up in Kaya. Same thing from that fight. My dad, sustained his first injuries. Then he came, he was brought to, his first injuries were around this place in Juba. Because that time, from that war that was breaking out, we were being chased from Ethiopia. The fight was breaking out along all the borders in this area, the Eastern Equatoria here, including Bor, and Bor was captured somehow, as well as here they were fighting here in Juba. When he got shot, then he was brought to Uganda. That's where we met him. He stayed a day, but he had to go because he had sustained some
Shrapnel.
fragments. Yeah, they had to go and cut half of his lung, and also remove some, as well as one of his fingers was cut during the war at first. So he came, spent a day, had to leave urgently because they needed that operation done, and so he went to Nairobi before us.
How do you, in retrospect, how do you process all that? Did you realize by then that was trauma, or you were like how are you processing all that by then?
Look, as South Sudanese, I think we are very strong people mentally, because from where I come from, just an injury, if I get injured at the door, for example, with a border or something, that would definitely traumatize me. I would be seeking counseling, I would be seeking compensation, all kinds of stuff. But us, we go through a lot of things. Even the journey I'm breaking down from where we started, like there's so many things I skipped that are still stuck with me. And we have the ability to sort of sift whatever the circumstances we are subjected to, and grow with those. We carry them, of course, but we don't let them get to that point. Sometimes it does happen. I've had people who have lost their minds because of the things that have happened, but the ratio is not comparing to the West where I come from.
So so now where from Kaya now you find your way again to Kenya?
So from Kaya, Dad was taken there. He went, got his operation done, and bear you in mind that time was a very hard time. A lot of the messages we get are letters. You get the information about what's going on by receiving a letter, and the letter travels a really long distance. You have to actually find somebody who is committed to make sure that letter reaches where it's supposed to. So when Dad got taken, we were still there with Mom, unaware of the circumstances, because even I wasn't allowed to see my father at that time. His situation was terrible. Only Mom saw him, and the same time he came was the same time he left. And after he's gone, we then had to wait to hear about what has happened, what went on, how his operation went. We first thought he was actually in Uganda, but they went and took him straight to Kenya. They took him to Uganda. They flew, I think, from Kampala to Nairobi, and he was straight taken to the operation. Once that was done, the fight was continuous. So first Ye fell, Yambio, Torit, and then a fight broke out in Kaya as well. So while we're waiting to receive the information about what's happening, now we also have a problem. At that time, around 1992, 93, the fight was very fierce in all fronts. Almost all of Sudan was captured.
Yeah, the SPLM almost gave it up by then.
Yes. So the fight reached us, I think, I'm trying to remember the other place before Kaya. There was a place, if somebody knows, remind me, it's along that side, but then Morobo also fell. There's another place, I'm trying to remember. If I remember, I'll recall it, but it was one place where there was a little bit of SPLA situated there. So there was also a division in SPLA as well. And so we had to now run from Kaya towards Uganda. We had to travel at night, I remember, because everything else that we had, everything we knew was left. And we left like there was nothing to avoid suspicion or anything like that. We left like we were going to figure out what's happening with my father. That's the information, obviously, that my mom was giving. It was an information that was passed to him. We had to leave with two drivers. One was the driver and the other one was a bodyguard, my dad's bodyguard. But one was left with us every time, no matter where we were. So that was the information they told Mom. and the other guy was saying he's, like an assistant to the driver. And so we left, and as soon as we got out, then the fight broke out in Kaya, and it was all out war again there. Kaya fell as well. We came to Uganda, and now we had to figure out a way to go to my father in Nairobi. But the only way we could was to actually like apply as refugees to end up in Lokichogio, which is in Kenya. And we had to wait for the United Nations plane in the camp. I think.
And that's the food rationing, yeah?
Yes. So those planes would come and drop food, and then they will see if there's injured people that really needs attention, treatment. Those people were considered like high risks, and they would take them to Logishokyo, as well as that the special needs. So us, we were not aware about where our dad is or what has happened or whatever. And so they really needed to find out. The CNC was also instrumental at that time to making sure that happens. And so we ended up in Lokishogyo. Lokishogyo, we went to Kakuma, and then now the information was easy to come to us. His treatment was successful. He will come once the wounds healed. So we were in the refugee camp there waiting to either go to him or he would come to us. And that's the journey from there.
This is a lot to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's a lot to you, but it's so much to your mom. I think by then she already had the consciousness to understand what is danger. I think kids at the time were just like, okay, a lot of trips, a lot of what. Yeah. But like for a grown-up, it's a lot of things to process.
It was a lot of work. Look, even in my music, sometime I try to tell a chapter at a time. I have a song, I named it Nyot, meaning dream. And it's explaining this path that we took from Itang when we were running. My mom she had me and my little brother. At the time when people were running, it was rainy season, and obviously, as a mother, you have to do what you have to do. She had to pick between carrying, some stuff, end up taking a blanket and some bed sheets. Had to tie me because I'm the heavier one to her back, and then my little brother to her neck, and just keep switching, to cross the waters that were along the area. So it's a very important journey and a very traumatic one, but it's what we are used to. I don't think the generation after us, are really getting the experience we've had.
When do you get connected to Australia now, or to the idea of even traveling?
So when we went to the camp, my father went did the treatment. I think spent a time span of 2 months. 2 months, he came back to us. But that time when he was coming, this information is now put out. But I think SPLA was given some ammunitions and cars and everything that were coming from the Mombasa side. I don't know which part they came from, but they probably know. And the fight was fierce, like I told you before. So my dad was also summoned to actually increase the army. And that means he has to go to the camp, to the Jesh Armored units.
Those are like the child soldiers.
Red Army, yeah. So there was Red Army. There was a lot of them in the camp that were in groups. I remember some of the groups in there. And what they had to do was have meetings with different leaders of the faction, and then convey the message that was coming from the high command, and that was that they need reinforcement, they need people to still believe in the cause and to sacrifice. They were, having some muscles now, and so those muscles can't go by themselves. So he came, I think, spent 2-3 weeks, and doing those things, having those meetings. They usually were conducted at night, and they will make it like a ceremony where there's food, and then it's like a meeting just to hide what was going on. And then those cars would move at night as well. And that's the first time my dad decided he wanted to spend a little time with me. And so he spoke with my mother and decided he's going to take me with him to a place called Ngatinga. Ngatinga was close to Nairus, he's situated there as well. And then he was summoned there to go and train the army that they actually carried from the area. There was a lot of soldiers that just committed to the cause, and those cars were full when we were going. So they would travel during the night. During the day, the cars are hidden, and a few people will go into town and get food stuff, and just speak to the area just in case there is information about what's going on or what's moving, so that does not get leaked out, and also not to involve Kenya in what was happening as well. So yeah, that there was the next phase of me actually connecting to my father now a lot more. There was probably the most special moments that I carry out from that time.
What kind of a person was your dad? What kind of if he's obviously a leader, but did you get a comprehension of what kind of leadership he was?
He was a loving father. My dad was very articulate in his way. I remember in the morning before we have breakfast, we will have to write our ABCs from capital to small ones, and it was on the ground. I remember this because that was our routine as soon as he came. While he was still healing from those injuries, that was my routine in the morning. But once that is done, he also wants to show me the sweetest part of a father. He would take me on his trips, show me around the place, let me meet people. So most of the people I'm still meeting up today only knew me when I was a very, very young kid, a very small boy. Yeah. So
do you think for the old guards, your dad is more famous than you to them?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. He was amongst his peers and amongst his age groups from when he was a little boy. Because I get these stories up to date, they still get told. He was active, he loved sports, soccer. He had his rababa, the one, the traditional one. Yeah. He liked to sing. He's a great writer. Like his handwriting, I remember it because some of his books I used to just, even after his passing, they were still there. They only got destroyed by the termites afterwards. But he was, a very sharp person in his ways.
Yeah. So now talk to me about like your. I want to understand the transition from that to now going abroad.
So we went to Ngatinga, and the fight was continuous. He obviously was elected to be the one that is, taking care of that area. It was a training camp at first when it was started. So all the new recruits were being trained there and then sent to the front line. Some were being sent towards, Chukudum area, going back towards Torid and them. And the other ones were being sent towards Nairus, going towards the Kapoita side from that side. Because the fight, literally, all the South Sudanese were at the border now. Like they were all scattered through the border, everywhere else was captured. And, in 1995, that's when it fell. That was the death of my father. Obviously, when he went to the front lines, I had to return to my mother. The fight was very close. Nairuz was getting hammered with Antonov and everything. And so there was a fear that anywhere can get captured any time. So we went back to Kakuma. Then he came back, and then we came back to see him because now we have a little time in between. Sometimes he would leave urgently, and so I would remain with the CNC house, which was Mama Rebecca, at her house, at her home in Ngatinga, and they will go do what they need to do, all their stuff about reconnaissance and divisions being sent to different places at that time. But when he died, my mom also had came to Ngatinga. The information got us there. That he had passed. He was killed, unfortunately, in Kapoita. From there, that is when we decided we were going to leave from Ngatinga. We moved back to Kakuma.
There was no reason more to stay around there, something.
I think when something tragic as this happened, you are in disarray. You're trying to figure out how to hold it together. Like I said before, my mother is a fighter. She's a brave woman, still is today. She has done what most of our mothers have done too during the struggle. Some of the things she talks about is, because every woman sometimes is concerned. If your husband is shot here, had another injury here, he's consecutively fighting and the war is taking many people, you're hearing death tomorrow, death here, then you as a woman, will be concerned about your husband, and you want to ask to know about what will be of the family if this is how you're going to continue and you don't want to have a break. And I know some of the stories she would say, tells me what kinds of a person he was. Things like, there's nobody's son that is better to die rather than me if I was there. And, if my mom would ask, what about your children? Who would you leave them to? Who do you see that will take care of your children? She would say, yeah, I know you would. When I met you and I chose you, obviously it's because I know you would take care of them. And she exactly did that. Those stories sort of guided her and held her still to raise the man I am today. So we had to move back to Kakuma. That was a refugee camp. That's where everybody who didn't have anything going on for them anymore go. You obviously are giving yourself up to the United Nations for support. The war was continuous, but after not only my father, but a lot of people fell in that fight. A lot of people fell in the Capoeira fight. A lot of people fell here in Juba, Torit. Like a lot of people were lost during that time. And so we moved back to the camp. Her decision was to try and raise us the best she could, and to also now instill education on us. That was being provided by the UN. They had the public schools first. That allows her to also try and figure out how to raise us. Now she has us, and there was no job opportunities. There's nothing else that you have there going on for yourself except to try and figure it out yourself. Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot to process, and for sure, I mean, a lot of our mothers, I think they're like they are heroes in their own rights because they're also fighting on a different front. The men are fighting on a different front. Tell me about your journey in music. Like, is it something that's too early? It came to you too early on, or something that what inspired you to get into music?
I always say this, and it's one thing we are known for. If you actually look in the whole of Africa, South Sudanese are so unique. We're so multicultural. You'll get one tribe have like about 6 or 7 dances. So music is within ourselves. For me, I started in kindergarten. We used to sing all those kindergarten songs, and I was also involved in the church, the Hallelujah dances. That's the beginning of it. So I used to be a lead at those things in the prep. When they're having a parade, I always be the one to sing because I sing loud and everything. So that's where I sort of think it started. Professionally is when I went to Australia, because even here when we were still in the camp, we used to collect newspapers with lyrics, and we used to stick those in a book, and somebody else would come and borrow it and then go and listen to the tape and learn the words now, So I used to do that a lot. I used to find, every time I would save up actually to buy a newspaper, cut out the lyrics, because on a Sunday, they call it a daily paper. It has if there's a new song, the lyrics will be written there. And then I would do that and then save up again to buy the tape. I used to even get some of the DJs borrowing my tapes because I had the latest. And I had a friend, shout out to him, he used to do a mix. So he would record and dub this song and then dub this. And I would have like the best tape. You just throw it in and play it, and it plays along, and the party's going on the night.
So you have a mix of the best. Because by then, like you have to get a cassette or something. There is no such a thing of like jump from this artist to that artist to this
Nah.
song.
No, even at the parties, like I said, music was something so instrumental in my life. At parties, I used to sit, the DJ would be there with the tape, and I'm the boy with the pen, like finding the songs, because I sort of guess how far they are.
Yeah.
And you would just sit with the pen and go and where the song is.
Yeah.
And you stop there and then put the tape down, then get the next one. Because the song would go song 1, 2, 3. Usually, most tapes had like 6 songs.
Yes,
Some
yes.
had 10. So 5 and 5. You would flip it and flip it. So I would, be finding the songs where it is, and then stop it there, and then I'll go to the next. And that's where the music kicked in. Professionally, when I went to Australia, the first thing we did, we went to language school, because obviously when you go from here overseas, the assumption is that you are unable to speak fluent English. They want to expose you to the linguistics of the country. They also want to teach, because we used to do this thing called at IOM, I don't know what I'm trying to remember, cultural orientation.
Yeah, cultural orientation to adapt into the country.
Yes, and so that was teaching you about stuff, English, shops, all kinds of things. So when you go
How
there,
to turn on the heater, how to do it.
turn it off. Yeah, a whole lot. How to not eat the soap because it looks like a biscuit. So, they would do that. So when I went there, I went to language school, and from language school, there was a music room. They had a music room. Their music was something different. Basically, it's rock music. So you had drums and snare, kicks, guitars, and everything. But it just intrigued me, because now we're hearing what we used to hear already made. We are actually seeing it being made live, like it was being created there and then. And so I took interest in music. Like there were electives classes. You will pick what you want to learn. I took interest in the music class. Literally just so that I can get exposed to different sounds and everything. And that was the beginning of it from there.
What was the first kind of song that you made where you felt like, okay, someone else will listen to this?
So I've told you before, I used to collect lyrics.
Yeah.
So my dressing, if I drop some of the photos I have from 2000, the early 1998,
Baggy.
I would clean this floor without anyone else coming. Yeah, so it was rap music. I started with rap music, and I mean it's not anything positive. So we start with the likes of Ja Rule at that time, who was the party mover,
Yeah.
And then, we were copying the Tupacs and the Biggie and all that stuff. So we started rapping, and what we were doing was, the music that is there.
Yeah. The music that people listen to.
Yeah. So that's where it began. Started memorizing other people's lyrics and rapping to them, and then we started getting the beats now, because we had LimeWire. I don't know if somebody remember LimeWire. That's what you used to download instrumentals.
Yes.
Yeah, we start getting those instrumentals, and then we start rapping on them. The lyrics. Then we start getting creative, which was now we're creating our own sounds and lyrics to the beats of somebody else. It took off from there.
It's very interesting. I mean, you start from this basically, like every South Sudanese or African child, basically wanting to sound everything apart from South Sudanese, like adapting to the Western culture, adapting to hip hop, because as I said.
Yes.
What was the impetus to then move like 180 degree and sing in traditional, sing in Dinka?
Look, I have learned to understand the purpose of your language. We talk about slaves that are lost in America. You call them Black American, and some in Jamaica and some in UK. When you are taken away from your home during those times, the first thing they will do is to destroy everything that is your identity. They will get rid of your language. They will get rid of your traditions. They will get rid of your name. They will get rid of your ways, pretty much everything that describe you as a person. Once that is lost, once that is now, erased from your brain, then now they give you a different identity. They give you a different name, Tom, Joseph, whatever name they can give you. And then now with the person who doesn't have a culture, what you then pick up is whatever is there or whatever that is being exposed to you. When I was doing rapping, the first thing I realized from it was it was bringing negative energy, because with the rap music that we were practicing, we see the videos and we see what is being done there. Even though I wasn't an instigator, when you rap and I'm the toughest and I do this like that, the other person want to prove you wrong. That means there's also violence involved. You are also demeaning females in different ways and terms, and that was a negative side of it. Like I told you before, my mom raised me. I have a high regards about our sisters and mothers, and I felt like that was also taking me off course. So the first change that happened was me starting to do dancehall, because I just wanted to entertain now and have people partying. Again, I was appropriating a different culture. I was picking up something different. It's sweet, yes, it's nice, it's a good sound, and I love it. Shout out to anybody who does what they do in the music. Art is in different forms. But I started doing that, and the reception was okay. It's a bit different from when I was doing rap, because when you go and then the F word fly here and the S word there, you see the mother sitting like this, and like they are not intrigued at all about what was going on. So I started doing dancehall, and dancehall became interesting because now the reception was a bit better. You put the song, they don't know what you're saying. I don't know what I'm saying, but yeah, it is what it is. Wagwan. So it was sweet. Everybody started enjoying that. But as you grow, as you start to see those things, then you also do a self-search. What is the purpose of what you're doing? What are you intending to do with it? How serious are you taking what you're doing? And how far are you willing to go with it? The first thing that led to this was me being able to listen to Kofi. I don't know Lingala whatsoever. I listen to Awilo. I have no idea what they're saying. I listened to Papikale back in those times. I don't know what they're saying. But the sound is so beautiful. The sound is so sweet. And, the music moves me. So, to me, I was like, if I can, I find words, I start singing it however it comes to my mind. And it sounds good. I don't know what they're saying. I sing it how they're singing, and it sounds good. But the music is moving me. So I said, if anything, if they can do that, and I'm singing it, and I don't know what I'm singing, why not my mother tongue? How come I cannot sing in my own mother tongue and actually have people singing it? That happened in the studio. Shout out to my brother Sunnyman. We were sitting in the studio. We literally had a discussion about this. And Chameleon was a topic. We were like, Jose Chameleon is one of the that time he was one of the
because singing in Uganda. Yeah,
he's from Uganda, and he was singing in Swahili and a little bit of English here. And I think that song, Mommy, was the hittest, the hardest song around the area. So we were discussing this, and we're like, hey, we don't even know some of the things these guys saying, but it sounds good. Why can't we do something? So the first song I did was almost a reggae. And shout out to my guy too, the guy who taught me to produce. His name is Rebel. He's a reggae artist, very lazy one. He's gonna see this. He's very talented. Like, he plays almost everything. He loves flying airplanes, but in his room, he's too good. He can fly, but he just sit and use the simulator in the room. But he made the instrumental, and then he wanted to throw it away because it didn't sound like reggae. So I'm like, okay, you know what? Give me that one. I'll play around with it. And I start playing with the keys because I don't know how to play piano. And if you actually go to my oldest song, it was called Nyan Medok, and it sounds like a reggae song. That was the first song I did. And I was playing keys on my hand. We just one key with one finger because I don't know how to. And boom, straight away that there was sounding beautiful, was sounding great. Then we jumped in the car with one of my friends and we played it. Back then, Facebook does not allow you to have a live video or anything like that. So we recorded the video. It was about 45 seconds. We recorded it, and I then posted. I remember the phone I had. It was a 3 phone. You remember the flip phone? So I posted that one.
Very grainy video.
Yeah, yes, and the reception was crazy. People, where can I find this song? Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, oh, okay. So, I'm liking what I'm seeing. That just took up. Everybody is commenting, trying to find that song, trying to find where they can get the song, and that inspired the next one. Like I said before, my mom is very instrumental in my life. She was, and she still is, always my greatest advisor. She would sit me down and she used to say, I don't like you doing the music you're doing. If your father was here, that wouldn't be what he wants you to do. So I'm not supportive of it. I don't like it. You need to focus.
Yeah.
So the next song I did was dedicated to my father, and I did it in my mother tongue. I did it without without a thought or a second. It happens. I wanted to so much prove something to her. I wanted her to feel something that I was feeling from this. And when I did the song, and she heard it, that's when she's like, okay, you could do the music, but do something else as well. So that was the biggest step that it took for her to actually accept what I was doing and add it to the things that I need to do. She was telling me, you need to also still be in school, pursue your education. You can still do music, but that's not your first prerogative.
So it kind of also opened up ways. So from there on, like, when did you realize that, like, okay, like a lot of people like my song, not only just something in the car. When did you realize, like, oh my God, there are a lot of people. I am a kind of a star.
So when I put that song on the social, it was too many questions. People, where can I find it? Like I said before, there was no likes on Facebook at that time. You cannot reply to the comments. It's just you write whatever and it just comes. That was the early days. Shout out to my guy. He's also my tour manager as we're moving, is Din. He heard the music, and every other time we met, he was a rapper, by the way. He's not here. He went back. He's handling some stuff, but he will be back. He kept asking me every day, like, we need to make a video. When are we going to make a video? Every time we meet, because we meet at events and everything like that, and I would say, we need to make a video. When are we going to make a video? So one night, we went out. He came by. He's like, you know what? We're going to go film now. I said, what? Because we were out anyway. We were in the city. And he's like, yeah, we're going to film. I said, well, what are we filming? It's like, whatever songs you have. I had a song that time. It's called Girl of My Dreams. It was still in English.
Yeah.
And he went and called another girl. He's like, you know what? You want to be in a video? He's like, yeah. It's like, okay, cool. No script for the video. No location scouting. Nothing. We're right in the city. We're filming. So we say, okay, cool. We're in the city. What do? We're gonna start doing what we're doing. He started filming here. He was using a Nikon. I think it's a Nikon camera. The graphics is whatever. But I don't even want to go there. But anyways, he did that. Whipped it up the same night. The next morning, he called me like, yeah, the video is ready. That's him now also changing from being an artist to a videographer, because he's the one that makes almost all my videos as well. And he's like, I made the video. I said, okay, cool. I want to see it. Now we saw the video. Yeah, I was like, yeah, we're filming another one tonight. And now I'm ready to go on fully. And it's like, oh, it doesn't work that way. I said, but we made one last night. We got to make another one now. We posted that one, but like I said, our reception, sometimes we have things we deal with.
Yeah.
The video went up. Everybody was jumping on it. Boo. It was one of the earliest videos. And the family of the lady went and saw the video. And here comes the problem, my brother.
What are they saying now?
Whoa, that video got to go down today. You have to take
the lady was she's a South Sudanese-Australian?
Yes.
Oh.
But you know, like I said, we came a long way. The reason I'm saying this is just to sort of tell you how far we have come to actually having our sisters in our videos now and everything. I was like, yep, you disrespecting the family. They had to come look for me.
Wow.
And then they're saying, whoever filmed that is what we want. I said, nah, you can't go deal with it. You have to finish with me here. So it was complicated. Like, that video got to go. Me, from the excitement, I'm now angry, because everybody's excited about what just happened. There's a music video. It's a South Sudanese music video. First one filmed in Australia. Whoop. And yeah, I called her. I said, "Bro, Hajat Sukun, everything is out here. We got a problem." He said, "Well," I said, "Now there's a family in my house." And they're saying the video got to go now. And he's like, "But we took permission from there." I said, "Brother, it doesn't work that way."
So he's like, "Oh, she's an adult, yeah, whatever."
Yeah, because him, one beautiful thing that has happened, even though it was a bad thing, war divided us. Some people went upwards, some people went to the East Africa. So he ended up going to Khartoum to Egypt. And from there there's a lot different. So his thinking is different. I grew up here in East Africa, and from East, people used to leave from the village here to there.
Yeah.
When the war was happening. So we are still attached to our ways. And so I'm aware of how serious these things can actually go when it comes to somebody's sister or somebody's daughter, and so I'm explaining them. I'm saying there's family in the house, in my house. They are here, and they're saying this video must go. It's like, well, we already posted. I say, yep, it got to go. So we had to make the hard decision of deleting the video.
Wow.
We got rid of it, but he's one determined person. He's like, okay. Now we got to do another one because what was happening was so amazing. A shout out to my brother Makovo. He's over there.
Yeah.
How are you? You just come there. What's your name today, Mohammed? Nice to see you, bro. Anyways, so what happened is, like, we're filming the next video, and the first video I did was with that instrumental, the one I told you Rebel made. And that is the first video that's on there now that I made. It says,
Yes.
He's like, yeah, we're filming this. And shout out to my sister. She's also an artist right now, a chai latte. She was actually the vixen in the video. So we finally made that video and we posted up, and it went nuts. This went crazy.
So I want to play something. George, I hope my Bluetooth, if you can increase the volume on my Bluetooth line. Yeah. This is the thing that really... So there is a Dinka hour in the club. It's usually at around 3 a.m. It's around 3:30, 3 a.m. Yeah. So it's usually this. Then you will get what is his name? This my brother who was singing in what's his name? Rafa Hot Dog.
Yeah.
This song, Rafa Hot Dog. Password. There are like few songs that come like in Marathon, and then we'll go to Acholi. The DJs just knows about that. So this song is a constant. Tell me the story behind this.
So after music took off, I ended up in US. Shout out to my brother Mabur Kwany. The story about me even traveling in US is a very interesting one. Mabur Kwany. Mabur is a guy from the States. He loved my music. When he was getting married, he was exposed to my music.
Yeah.
One of my songs was from my actual album. My first album was played in his wedding. And so, we have people who always think about doing something special. He thought of giving me a gift because the song was so much close to his heart. Like, the song related to him so much. He was disassociated from his family, had to leave Khartoum because that time people were being recruited for army from high school. So his dad sent him to Egypt, and then he ended up in the US. So he was growing up there by himself, excuse me. And so he played one of my songs in his wedding, and then had it at heart to, find the artist and to give him a gift.
He didn't know you personally, but
No. And we tried some gift, but it's your choice if you would like to travel to come and also showcase what you do in Australia, because that time now music took off. Like we doing shows here every day. We were on the road. My brother was still in there. We were moving a lot. So he said, "Cool, what do you want to do?" I said, "You know what? There's nothing big. There's nothing beats saying I went to America." So I'm going, and that's when I took off. The expectation was nothing. I ended up finding. So how far the music has went, and how much I was thinking of it, were two different demographics. The music has traveled from those videos we were making and everything. So it was just exciting when they heard I'm coming. We literally toured 34 states in the U.S.
Wow.
Just from going, I was expecting to go do whatever we needed to do in his state and then come back. But as soon as we went, he's receiving phone calls left, right, center. His twins were conceived while we were still on the road.
Wow.
So I landed and his twins were born, sorry. I landed like now, they came, they picked me up, his twins were born, and then boom. The next day we had to leave. So I was flying to come to the question you said before. I was flying from Salt Lake because now I got booked in Calgary. They want me there for a show. And then, it's just from...
That's going to Canada?
Yeah, Canada. Yeah. From there. Because they were seeing what we're doing. We're moving from this state to that state to this state to that state. And the Canadians start calling, okay, yep, we need to book. So I was booked in Calgary. And it was winter. That time it was cold. That's why you hear Canada in the song. Yeah. It was cold. They said, okay, cool, we're coming. Boom, got in the flight. As we're flying, the instrumental was composed. We made the instrumental in Salt Lake. And then I'm listening to it, and I just, it just comes to my mind. I'm just writing the song now. Like, because that's what happened anyway. Artists, like at night, we're leaving in the evening. And, excuse me, as we're flying, I'm just putting the words together, boom, boom, boom. And, I'm talking about, okay, I love you, love me. The song, the instrumental, to tell you the honest truth, it does not have a specific genre. Because when I was making it, the idea was to make a dancehall beat. If you hear the sound, it really doesn't sound like a dancehall beat. It doesn't sound like an Afro beat. It doesn't sound like a Zooks. It's a whole mix. But that was the idea. So I was writing the song now. And, I'm talking about, you love me, I love you, whoa, whoa. Your heart is as cool and calm like the Canada. I don't even know what Canada is feeling like, but I'm already dying from the snow in the U.S. So, yeah, that is where that song came from. I did the song, recorded it, because I used to take a portable studio too. And I recorded it. As soon as I did, I'm like, okay, I gotta make a video for this. This sounds nice. So when I was coming back to Salt Lake, I straight away went into the studio and booked it to film the video. And
so you filmed the video in the US?
Yes.
George?
Do come there, our love is platinum. Something very special. Dokoro Kodiak.
So and I could also see the whole it's not a film on the street, it's something in the studio, like the whole filming. Yes. Yeah. Were you surprised by how big the song became later on?
When you hear something, it becomes so interesting. When I heard the instrumental, like I'm telling you, I was debating. I wanted to film a different song from my album. I wanted to film that song and shout out to some of my friends. Like I said, God always put me around nice people. They're like, nah. We have to do this one. I said, but this is not what I was planning. This song just came along. I'm still touring my album. I need to do the next video from it. But they're like, nah, we got to do it. You can see the guys in the actual video as well. They're there. Then we're like, okay, cool. So what do we do? One of my friends said, okay, I'm gonna get the girl. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I said, cool. Well, done. And yeah, we just went in. It was snowing. We wanted to film it outside. We had initially planned to make it a really fancy video. There was cars everywhere. You know, U.S. cars are like, yeah, there's crazy cars. But me and the snow and the cold weather, we just don't mix. I was freezing. So we're like, okay, we're going to do an indoor shoot. And that's where we just kept it in the studio. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I would like to open it up for questions because I know like our time is like much spent, and we started a bit late. So I'll open it up. Is there people who have questions? Because I know like there are people who have been fans way before even I could I could realize that Amac Don was doing music. So I'll open it up for a few questions, and then we'll play some little bit of music and wrap it up so that we don't stay here for too long. So if you have a question, just raise your hand. I'll hand you the mic, and then we can start. I want Mokili to come and help us with the mic. Just pass the mic around. Okay, so I can see a hand here. You can use this mic, and then we'll have one here. Okay, just your name, and then what's your question, and then we'll continue.
Welcome to Juba. I call you Amac Don. I don't call Amac Don. I don't know why.
Amac Don.
Okay, A for me is silent. I just call Amac Don. Okay, my name is Malek Deng. I go to church. I'm called Christopher. That's the name I use. I am your biggest fan, but I have this feeling. It's like anytime you're traveling, you always have a hit song. We have this NHIER, we have Sweet Cocoa, we have Yom Sebit, Yom NHIER. It's like when I get the stories from people around me, they say that most of your hit song is like when you travel is when you make the hit song. So is it true? Can you explain?
Interesting question. It's good to hear that one. Look, as an artist, there's two things you do. When you're leaving, you already know that people are interested in what they already know. And to also sort of hype, it's a marketing strategy to hype what you're already doing. You also have to create an art that people can connect to. And so it's true that it does happen. I drop something. I produced so much songs. I don't know if I could even stop singing and I still have music to go out. But every time I'm traveling, of course, I don't just want to give you the substance that you are already used to. I also want to excite you about what is new. And you know, when something is new, now, you know, you're finding new people also wanting to jump into the band and to actually rock with what is, you know, current. Another thing also is, you know, when you sleep too much, yeah, it's not good for the music business. So you just have to sometimes remind them a little bit and then go and lay back. It's another strategy as well, because when people don't understand how to milk the music that's out properly, you sort of congest yourself. So you put out a good song, and instead of giving it that life, you put out another one, and then you're now disrupting that one, so it doesn't really grow to how far it's supposed to go. But if you give that life, you give it time, then you can actually like utilize that. You can see some of the songs we are still dancing to are like almost a decade long, but you know, their lifespan still goes on. Not because we can't put out consecutive music, we can, but we just give it time so that it grows and so that you are also benefiting from it. So yeah, it's true. I do that, yeah.
How much benefit, like, do you, I don't know how to, like, how much money or benefits do you make from your music now? Or yeah.
I'll just say accolation is there.
Accolation is there, right?
Yeah,
there is accolation.
Yeah.
And the shows also.
Yeah, so, you know, music is a lucrative business if you know it. You can utilize it properly. Monetization is one major part, because when you see the ads, those ads are like money. Every ad that come through, if you get an Adidas ad, there's like maybe for every time they pop up in your music video, you're getting like $30 or $40. So if you get an Adidas ad popping up in a week like 3-4 times, you're getting something from it. And then for the views, yes, the views is not where it all comes from, but you still get money from it. So if you are a patient person When it's dark days, you can still ball out and smile.
So like right now, your songs from 6 years from what you still get a check.
It has. I have a lifetime ownership. The only difference there is to keep updating your subscriptions, because look, those people are also business people. When you put your music on a platform to market it for you, they want to get something from you. You want to be able to promote that as well, so that you're making something from it. And so a lifespan, Michael Jackson, for example, Prince, all of them, like some people that are not even their direct families are still benefiting from it because it has a lifespan. We're still playing the songs, we're still listening to watching the videos, and that just keep going and going and going. So
if there is any other question, I'll also take that. If there is none, we'll play some music. There's a hand there. Is there any other hand? Okay, super. So let's take the second. Let me play something. Then we take the second question. I'm really going randomly now. I'm going on based on the views. Let me play this. George?
Shella, Amac Don, Young Low, Shella, Yom Sebit, Yom Sebit, NHIER YIN, we do low. In Kadia, boy, loy, we in Jadagin, Jano, Mama in way by Dinka, in way by Tinida, in way by Yasu, Bow, I can yet do that. Oga, ram, bum, 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 bum.
Tell me the story about Yom Sebit.
Oh man, every song is interesting in its own aspect. Shout out to my brother Young Low. The song is basically doing what you do. You go to work 5 days a week, then weekend comes, Yom Sebit is the day. You call Habib, hello, let's go out. What do you want? Where do you want to go by? I want to do my nails, whoop, whoop, whoop. So anyway, the song came along. I was in the studio, we're going out. I go out a lot. I used to go out a lot. And I was in the studio. We had established the studio. And then, I was waiting for Young Low so he can come, we go out. This instrumental that you hear was made by Enox. Is one of the people that has been instrumental in the productions of South Sudanese music. He's one of the earliest people. And I think I was one of the earliest people to work with him outside there. He sent me the instrumental, by the way. And I heard the instrumental and I liked it. So I was just waiting for Young Low. I put the beat there and I did an English song to it first, a dancer song. So I didn't like it. I wasn't feeling it, so I muted. And I went back to the mother tongue. And I was just thinking, it's Saturday, we're going out, what do we normally do? If you are with a significant other, you call them, let them know, Over in the West, obviously, that's what you do, yeah, because you work 5 days, you don't see each other, everybody's busy on their own. And then when Saturday comes, you call them, check in, yeah, what are we doing? We probably could be going to a dinner or whatever. But first, you got to go look good, shopping, all that stuff. So, the song is based on reality of what happened, basically. And it's talking about a Saturday being the day of, looking good, the day of glamour, the day of love. And it's basically me just telling somebody, now we're ready.
Thank you so much. I really wouldn't want to prolong this. I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you so much for coming to Seniors Hub. And spending the time with us here. There are a lot of people, and we're recording this. So I usually tell people, once you record something, you have the first-hand audience, then you have thousands who are going to get it second-hand and comment and have a whole discussion on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so thank you so much for your time. I think I'll want to play something as we can kind of conclude with it.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming and thank you for having me. Much
Okay,
pleasure.
cool. So I think we make it a party vibe. We play one or two things as a conclusion. These people are a bit far, so it doesn't look like a party vibe, but it is.